What's up, everybody? We've made it through another week, and I'm here with another video. Trying to stay consistent with these videos this time. And yeah, so this video is going to focus on PlayStation 1 fighting games that I didn't know existed, and we're going to do the old hit or miss shtick again, and just gonna kind of go through them. I have a lot of PS1 fighting games that I found over the last few years that I've been away that I played at various points, and so there's at least going to be one more video like this, but probably two more videos. But I'm going to kind of space them out and like talk about some other stuff after this video. But anyway, so the first game up is going to be a game called Verse, and it's obviously a PlayStation 1 fighting game. This game is kind of interesting in that you kind of you pick where you want to fight and who you want to fight by picking like rival street gangs or something like that. Let me just say, I have still really never figured out how in the world matches work in this game. But like you pick a turf to fight on, and then you pick like one of two different gangs to fight with, and then you pick your character based on that gang and that turf, and then you fight like somebody else from a rival gang. And so like that is kind of interesting, like overly convoluted and not very well explained by the game. Um, but like the combat, once you start fighting, the combat feels pretty good. This definitely reminds me of arcade fighting games at that point in time, like the late 90s, early 2000s. When you go into the arcades, the 3D fighters that you would have found in the arcades at that point, like this game definitely reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of Fighting Vipers a lot. And I guess that's in a good way and a bad way. I will say some of the characters in this game don't control that well. Like they don't have moves that string together very easily, and they don't really have moves that are worth trying to land. You just kind of get your butt handed to you. But other characters control very well, and you can just like dominate. So definitely have the balance issues of games of that era too. So I'll say Verse, kind of a hit. I wasn't expecting much from this game, but I actually had fun with the time that I spent with it. I wouldn't suggest paying high prices for this game at all, though. Like, I definitely would not suggest paying high prices for the game. But if you can find it for like, I don't know, 15 bucks, something like that, definitely worth it. All right. The next game up is going to be Dynasty Warriors. So I had no idea the first Dynasty Warriors game on the PlayStation 1 was a fighting game. And so once I found that out, I definitely wanted to give this game a try. And I will say off the bat that this game, I feel like for me, is a miss. I didn't enjoy it really at all. And maybe it's just because I had a different idea of what this game would be like. Like looking at the game visually, it reminds me of fighting games of this era. And so I kind of had the expectation of it would play something like Tekken or Virtua Fighter, but it doesn't really. And given the fact that characters in this game, there's an emphasis on weapons, and so you pick characters kind of based on your weapons, and then the weapons kind of then lead to a specific fighting style. And so this reminded me of something like Soul Age, Soul Blade, Soul Calibur, like that series of games. And those games kind of famous because the weapons and the combos, and that's what I was expecting from this game, but it's very much not what you get from it. And this game to me kind of seems like the emphasis on the combat is on timing your hits more so than being good at the game. Like if you strategically button tap or button mash, you'll do really well at this game. But if you're like trying to plan out combos or string together hits, like it's just not going to work out for you. And I found that to be kind of unfortunate. And the characters in the game itself just felt kind of slow and clunky, and didn't really enjoy it. But novelty-wise, it's a Dynasty Warrior fighting game, and it's interesting that the first game was a fighting game. Maybe there's like a different first Dynasty Warrior games, I don't know, but once I saw that it was a fighting game, I did want to try it, and tried I did. The next game up is going to be Kinsei Sacred Fist. So this is a Konami fighting game. Definitely has the look and feel of late 90s, early 2000s fighting games. This game, shameless ripoff of Virtua Fighter and Tekken. Like I'm just gonna call this great value Tekken fighter. This game is basically, like I said, Virtual Fighter and Tekken all mashed into one game, and with characters whose names you have no idea what they are, but whose look very familiar, and whose movesets also look very familiar. Oh, you know what? I didn't even say. Oh no, I did say. I was gonna say I didn't even say if Dynasty Warriors was a hit or a miss. Dynasty Warriors miss. Kinsei, I'm gonna say it was a hit, only because, like I said, it shamelessly rips off two games that I absolutely love, and it kind of like jams them together in a single package. Yeah, like this is a game, if you like Tekken or if you like Virtual Fighter, you're probably gonna like this game. You're gonna find a character that gels with you from one of those two series. But it is interesting to see like Tekken moves in a game that also features Virtual Fighter moves, where Tekken moves always felt fluid and fast, and Virtual Fighter always felt slow and kind of like your character was chugging along. And see those two go against each other, and surprisingly, they go together well. Yeah, this is a pretty cool game. I was surprised by it. Again, none of these games I would suggest paying a lot of money for. So like some of the prices you'll see on eBay, like don't pay high prices. Some of these games were released on like PSN or Xbox Live or whatever online services exist. So if you're interested in just trying these games, I would check those first. Okay, next game is Star Gladiator, Episode 1, Final Crusade. I like how the first episode's called Final. So this game, I'll say I think it was a miss for me, largely for the same reason as Dynasty Warriors. This is another game that features characters with weapons, and I don't feel like the weapons are... I don't feel like combat with the weapons really matters, or that like they string together like interesting moves. I think the kind of novelty part of this game was just the weird characters in it, honestly, because the combat doesn't feel amazing to me. I didn't really feel compelled to keep playing this game. I honestly didn't really find the characters to be all that interesting, but there's just such a wide array of characters in this game that I can easily see people enjoying this game for that reason. And the combat, like I was saying, is just not that interesting to me. It wasn't fun. It didn't like flow together. I'm gonna keep going back to Soul Age and Soul Blade, because when those games were in the arcade, I loved them. I would sit and play those games if I was in an arcade that had them like crazy. Like they were fun to me. And I didn't feel that same thing when I played this game, and I kind of thought I would, but I did not. I did not. So yeah, Star Gladiator, gonna be a miss for me. Okay, next game up, Samurai Shodown Warriors Rage. This is a 3D Samurai Showdown game. I did not know there was a 3D Samurai Showdown game. I was always under the impression that they were all like the SNK sprite-based games. And this game is very dark. It might just be because of my setup. It might just be the game itself. I'm not sure. But it is definitely dark, so you're not going to get any of the details or kind of really great looking game or environments that you get out of playing the SNK sprite-based games. Basically every other Samurai Showdown in the series except for this one. But this game still plays like a Samurai Showdown game to me. The combat is very fast and fluid. It doesn't feel slow, doesn't feel clunky. It feels like the underlying game is Samurai Showdown and they just added 3D models, if I'm being honest. I really like this game. I will say, if you're playing this game with like a FrameMeister, there's like a lot of resolution changes, and so you get the I don't even know what you call it. The FrameMeister just stops outputting for a little bit while it readjusts to the new resolution, and so I found myself starting a lot of fights after that happened, not being able to see anything, so I'd have to just hold back and hope that I was either blocking or moving away from my opponent until I was able to see the game again. So just a word of warning, if you play this game on original hardware and you're going through like an XRGB mini FrameMeister, whatever you want to call it, this definitely has a lot of output drops where the resolution is changing, and it can be kind of annoying. I think this game also released on PSN though, so PSN might be the superior way of playing this game, but I would say this game is a hit for me. I really like Samurai Showdown, and I thought it's pretty cool that there's a 3D Samurai Showdown game. So, yeah. And the final game that we have here is basically going to be the same story. Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, a 3D Fatal Fury game that I had no idea existed. And again, this basically plays just like a Fatal Fury game, just with 3D models. This one, I think, plays more like Fatal Fury than Samurai Showdown Warriors Rage plays like other Samurai Showdown games. Like, this Fatal Fury game was very good, and it plays like a Fatal Fury game. And also, I haven't played a Fatal Fury game in a long time, and when I picked this game up, I was able to still just kind of knock the dust off and start doing combos and special moves and stuff again. So that was pretty cool. I could not do that in Samurai Showdown. And I don't know if it's because Warriors Rage has a different moveset or something, or if it has a limited moveset, but Fatal Fury felt like Fatal Fury, like through and through. And it didn't have the dark kind of tint on it that I felt Samurai Showdown had. So that's pretty cool to me. And this is another one. This is definitely a hit for me. This is the hideous hit of this whole bunch for me. I still play Fatal Fury Wild Ambition because I think it's a fun game. And I'm not a huge Fatal Fury fan. It's been a long stretch of time since I played Fatal Fury. And this game just made me want to play Fatal Fury. But yeah, as always, I have links in the description to extended gameplay of these games if you're interested in taking a look. None of them have commentary, it's just pure gameplay, so if you just want to watch some more gameplay of these games, take a look. And I think I'm going to do some Switch videos coming up, just to talk about talk about the Nintendo Switch a little bit and get into that. I think I'm going to talk about shmup games on the Switch, so that should be pretty interesting. And I've started to upload some videos for Baldo, the Guardian Owls playthrough that I'm doing. I am having a lot of fun with Baldo so far, so I will, even if nobody watches it, I'm still going to keep playing that game, probably still keep uploading. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you had a great week, and I hope you have a great weekend coming up. And until next time, peace.
9, 8, 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. Game over.